Hello, this is Dr. Anthony Festmeyer, and this video is the second in a series of 3 on the Motown song My Girl. In this one, we're going to go ahead and check out the main riff of the song that serves as part of the introduction, and then it also plays under the verses. Let's check this out. Now, the first thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to examine the rhythm. The rhythm for this is pretty straightforward. The riff basically repeats 8 times under the verse. It changes notes, so it changes from the C chord to the F chord and basically alternates between the two. But each measure has exactly the same rhythm. It starts off with a dotted chord note followed by an 8th note, and this is a very particular rhythm pattern that you will see all the time in music. So it's important to recognize it and be able to decipher what it means right away. Starting with the dotted chord note, when we take a chord note, of course in 4/4 time, that is 1 beat. But when we add the dot to that note, it extends it by 1/2. So basically 1/2 of a beat. So the dotted chord note lasts for all of beat 1 and half of beat 2. And to make up for what is left over in beat 2, we have that 8th note. So we put the two of them together, the dotted chord note and the 8th note, it makes up 2 beats. In rhythm counting, it's important to always count the beat, so you're always feeling what the beat is, and then to also have a syllable for any other note that's there. So the way that we're going to count that is 1, 2 for the dotted chord note, and for the 8th note. So if we clap that, it would be 1, 2, and. Again, it's important to feel that too, but we're not clapping there. The rest of the measure is just 8th notes, so 3 and 4 and. So the entire rhythm is 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the notes, and then we could go ahead and put both the notes and the rhythm together. Now I'm going to start out by showing you just really quickly where the notes are in first position, since we're used to reading in first position. But then we're actually going to move those same notes up further on the guitar, and we're going to play them up here instead. So it begins off with basically the notes of the C major pentatonic scale, at least for the first measure. So starting here, we have C, D, E, G, A, back to C. In rhythm, that would be. For the second measure, we have exactly the same melodic pattern, but it's moved up, so it's starting on F. So it's actually an F major pentatonic scale. So starting here, I've got F, G, A, C, D, back up to F. Okay, now you could certainly play it there in open position, but like I said, we're going to go ahead and move it up the guitar. So the way that this is going to work is we're going to focus in on the major pentatonic shape that we learned in the previous lesson. You could check out that video if you need to review over that. I'm going to take my second finger and I'm going to move it up to the 8th fret of the low E string. That's the C note. And then I'm going to play through the major pentatonic shape. So let's just review that really quickly, and then we'll see how it applies to My Girl. Here we have C, D, second pinky, E, G, first pinky, A, C, first pinky, D, E, first third, G, A, second pinky, C, D, second pinky. Okay, so that's just review. So here's that major pentatonic scale. Okay, so My Girl uses the major pentatonic scale, but it only uses it down on the low strings. So we're just playing the C to D, E to G, A to C, right here at the beginning, the first 6 notes of that major pentatonic shape. So if we play them in rhythm, it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. By the way, I'm alternate picking as I play this, so it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so that's the first measure of the verse section. Now we're going to take that same thing and start on F. So what I could do is I could keep that same exact shape Instead, move my second finger up to an F note here at the 13th fret. If I follow that same shape of second pinky, first pinky, first pinky, I'll have those same notes that are notated there on the staff. So I've got F, G, A, C, D, F. Same exact finger pattern as down here, just starting on F instead of C. Okay, so this is one way that the song could be played. Okay, now that's pretty awkward though to slide back and forth between those two positions. So let's go ahead and find another place on the guitar. If I take my second finger from that C and go to the A string instead, it gives me an F note. So here I have exactly the same F note that I was playing here. F at the 13th fret on the low E is the same as F on the 8th fret of the A string. It's also the same as the F on the 3rd fret of the D string. So take my second finger there to that F and then follow the same exact shape. I get F with my second finger, G with my pinky, A with my first finger, C with my pinky, D with my first finger, and F with my pinky. So again, second pinky, first pinky, first pinky. So I get... Okay, now that we have everything here in this particular position, it's going to be a lot easier to play and just transition between the two different shapes. So here's what that verse section sounds like. Right, so basically it's just alternating between the form starting on C and then starting on F.